Good morning, MAB Elementary. It's Mr. T. I thought I'd have my buddy Fred here set in on our circle here this Tuesday morning. It's May the 26th. Your sunrise this morning, Fred was up early watching for it. Sunrise was at 5:48, and the sun will go down tonight at 8:26. Again, I'd like you to figure out how many hours of sunlight we have today. To see if the days are getting longer or the days are getting shorter. It's kind of an interesting thing for you to do. Partly cloudy today. We're going to get to 80 degrees, which is a number Mr. T likes to hear. I like that 8 in the 10 place when it comes to temperature during the daytime. In the spring, we're going to have 10% chance of rain, even though it's partly cloudy. Should be a pretty nice day. Could have a good bit of sun. The wind is going to be just 6 miles an hour, 5 to 10 miles an hour from an east-southeast direction. So I want you to think about that. East-southeast, where do you think that is on our compass? So I'll get into our virtue of the week, which is reliability, in a few minutes. But before I do that, I thought I'd share with you and with Fred here some of the interesting things that have happened on this day in history, May 26th. So here's a few items that I picked up from our history chronicles. 240 BC, more than 2,000 years ago, the first recorded in history, written down, notice of Halley's Comet. The ancients at that time had seen Halley's Comet come by the Earth close enough so that they could see it. And of course, back then it terrified them. They had no idea what it was, and they recorded it in history. In 1787, big year for the United States of America. The Constitutional Convention was called to order in Philadelphia, presided over by General George Washington, and the result was the first Constitution of the United States, the law of the land that governs how we relate to each other and how we relate to our government. So this was huge in the foundation of the modern country of the United States. In 1810, down in South America, in Argentina, the city of Buenos Aires, the big capital city of Argentina, there was a revolution and the people rose up and they expelled Mayor Baltasar Hidalgo. He was a Spanish mayor, a viceroy appointed by the government in Madrid. Remember that in that time, South America was part of the Spanish Empire, and this was part of the revolutions throughout the continent that overthrew the rule of Spain and resulted in the independent countries that we have today, including Argentina, started in 1810. In 1876, a really famous and enjoyable opera was first performed. It was Gilbert and Sullivan's opera, the HMS Pinafore, and it was in the Opera House in London. Get your moms and dads maybe to let you hear some of the recording of HMS Pinafore. It's a classic comic opera. In 1935, Jesse Owens, one of the most famous track and field athletes to ever live in America. He was an African American. He was on the track and field team at Oklahoma State University, and in a big track meet in Michigan, at one track meet, he broke 3 world records. He was a fabulous sprinter, long jumper, and excelled in all fields of track and field. In 1940, there was a huge historical moment in World War II, the Battle of Dunkirk. You may recall from Mr. Smith's history lessons that the German Nazi armies had conquered most of Europe by 1940. The British and Canadian and New Zealand forces that were fighting against them were actually trapped on the coast of France across the English Channel. And in a heroic few days, the British people came across in every imaginable kind of boat and rescued more than 300,000 British Army troops and brought them back to Britain. And eventually they became the vanguard who would fight for the liberation of Europe from the Nazi dictatorship and bring about a return to peace and democracy in Europe by 1946. In 1961, John F. Kennedy, the president, made a very important speech to a joint session of Congress where he called for putting a man on the moon by the end of the decade, by 1970. And this launched the Apollo program, which we've talked about in astronomy. Some of you guys who've been to the Air and Space Museum have seen all the wonderful artifacts that are left, the Saturn V booster and the Apollo moon lander. And you've seen that, and we know about the success of that program that John F. Kennedy announced. And in 2008, the Phoenix lander, NASA space agency, landed the Phoenix spaceship lander on the planet Mars. Well, Mrs. Kiefer and Mr. Smith picked our virtue for the day. It's reliability. 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 Well, reliability is a noun, looking at our functions of words. And what does it mean? Well, like I like to do, I've gone to our thesaurus. Remember, thesaurus is a special dictionary that contains synonyms for words. And it gives you a lot of the definition of what our virtues are. So here we have reliability. Some of the nouns that mean almost the same thing as reliability are probity, rectitude, uprightness, integrity. Love that one. Integrity means your honor as a person. You're a righteous person. You're a reliable person. You're going to do the right thing, and you can be counted on to do the right thing. People know that you're reliable. They expect that you'll do the right thing, the wise thing, and you do, because you have integrity, you have honesty, you have honor, you have good character, you have moral strength, high-mindedness. Those are all synonyms for reliability. Now, if you go, here's a couple more that tell you a lot about what it means to be a virtuous, reliable person. Reliability, trustworthiness, responsibility, sureness. These are all important virtues for living a good life and relating to other people in a special way. Fidelity, faithfulness, loyalty. You're loyal to your friends, to your family members. You're reliable. You're constant. You have constancy. That means you're predictable. People know you're going to do the right thing almost all the time, and you're steadfast. You practice steadfastness. Well, let's go down to verbs. Reliability is a noun. The verbs are very interesting. Are to speak or tell the truth, to be frank, to speak plainly, to speak one's mind, to put one's cards on the table. That's a nice idiom. You're reliable. People know who you are, they know what you're going to do, and you're predictable and reliable. Let's go to our adjectives for a reliable person. Upright, understanding, honorable, you have honor, reputable, credible. Creditable means believable. So if you're a reliable, creditable person, then people believe you and they know that they can trust you. And that's why being a reliable person is so important. Noble, worthy, ethical. You have a sense of ethics. That means you're a virtuous person and you do the right thing. Moral. Moral means to do the right thing. You know what's right and wrong, and you know the difference, and you do the right thing. Principled. You have high principles. You believe in certain things that you're always going to do. True-hearted, true dealing. Law-abiding means you obey the laws. Conscientious, conscientious. Scrupulous means you have scruples, means you do the right thing and you worry. If you happen to make a mistake, you're always out to try and correct it because you're scrupulous and you're reliable and you want to be reliable. Punctual. You know how Mr. T's always talked about being on time for a lesson. Punctual. Don't make other people wait. You're reliable. You're punctual. So those are some of the synonyms for reliability, to be reliable, and that's our virtue of the week. So, for my buddy Fred here, I'm going to sign off here in the classroom. And just to say that both Fred and I wish you guys were here because it's pretty lonely without you. So this is Mr. T. Hope you guys have a good work week. Take care.